Yuji just dropped the biggest bombshell in Jujutsu Kaisen history.
Oh my god! Okay, it's happening! Everybody stay calm!
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
He just revealed he's willing to live for 300 more years.
What? Why? Why?
All to carry the burden of protecting Earth after curse energy is erased forever.
No.
But here's the twist. Yuji believes this decision makes him a sinner, because by removing curse energy, he's stripping away the choices of millions. And for someone who has always respected how others choose to live and die, this might be the most terrifying decision he's ever made.
That's right.
They confirmed the plan to use idol transfiguration to reshape the souls of Japanese people. Maru is waiting for Yuji's permission, but he claims Mahito isn't the type that would willingly help. He needs to be beaten into submission. This is because the plane they are residing in is a crossroad for souls. And since Mahito has no physical body here, if he is defeated, he would become a tool. But Prime Yuji knows he's too strong. He fears he might accidentally kill Mahito in the process.
A few inches later,
Maru claims souls cannot interfere with one another as Mahito doesn't have much curse energy anymore. However, for the subjugation, Maru using his technique brought Mahito back to his full strength. And I think at this point, we can say Maru's technique is basically whatever Gege wants it to be, as the whole plot is because of it. Bro created an intergalactic spaceship, can break physics and inertia, can make aliens speak to humans learning language instantly, absorb information, make a door to the soul world, create harmony. Bro, like, what can this technique not do at this point? But now, everything is finally in place. Mahito has been reduced to nothing more than a tool, where the irony has peaked. Because this patch face would make dolls of others but now has become one. Also, Yuki's lifetime of research on the soul has been fully integrated into the plan. The Mul ores are confirmed to absorb not just curse energy, but curse techniques themselves. And inside the ring, it has decades of Yuta's stored curse energy to make this plan work. So Yuji begins discussing the next step. This is where Yuki's true plan comes in. She believed curses exist because humans leak energy through negative emotion. So she proposed two solutions. The first one is to remove curse energy from humans entirely. And option 2, make everyone a sorcerer, so curse energy could be controlled. However, both these scenarios, they actually create huge problems. Yuji instantly challenges option 2, stating it's not viable for their goal. The harm from the spirits would just turn into violence from curse users instead. And he's not wrong. Think about it. Turning everyone into sorcerers is insanely reckless, because before Modulo, monsters like Gojo and Sukuna were extremely rare calamities, happening over centuries. Sukuna was only remembered 1,000 years later because he could take over the world compared to a nuke. Gojo's birth literally shifted the balance of the world. Now imagine making millions of people potential sorcerers. You drastically increase the probability that someone like Gojo or Sukuna appear on a regular basis. Now, although that would give us more peak fiction and would be cool to see, risk this. There is zero guarantee that they would be good people. For example, if someone is born with a curse technique capable of planetary destruction, what would happen? Yuki's black hole didn't end the world because Tengen's barriers contained it, and because she restrained herself. But give that level of power to someone evil, it would be game over. So let me make this easy for you to understand. If Yuji makes everyone a sorcerer, he just recreated the exact same burden Gojo carried, being the one guy who has to police the entire world by himself. And the worst part is that cursed spirits will still spawn. Accidents like car crashes would allow them to come back, because when sorcerers are killed without curse energy, they can return as vengeful spirits like Naoya did. But let's move on to Yuji's other option of removing curse energy altogether. Maru brings up heavenly restriction, thinking people like Tsurugi and Toji will still constantly be born. But Yuji corrects this misunderstanding, that their level of power beyond humans only occurs if you have the potential for it. So they decide that the best option is number 1, for humans and Simurians. Now, because the Simurians are not responsible for making cursed spirits, Yuji questions why do they need to be involved. Maru explains that for their race to be accepted on Earth, they cannot have a huge advantage of curse energy over them. So to avoid future conflict, both races have to undergo the procedure. In the end, Maru also sees this as an atonement for the troubles they have caused, and this will help their public image, as everyone will think the world became a better place because they met the Simurians. But unfortunately, Yuji breaks his bubble and tells him what they are about to do is actually a great sin. Not everyone wants curse energy to be stripped away from Earth, especially now that governments have spent billions on research to make a new source of energy for the world. Hundreds of years from now, oil and other non-renewable energy will be exhausted. So this potential replacement being taken away will actually piss a lot of people off, especially America. Remember that they literally started a war against Satoru Gojo because they wanted to exploit his 6 eyes for unlimited energy. Then Gege takes this even further, mentioning this again in Modulo within chapter 1. Children are literally being taken away for their curse energy. Governments treat them as resources, and the value of Japanese citizens fluctuates based on economics. And then there's the fact that they are meddling with other people's bodies without consent. So with this reality check, Maru starts questioning his resolve, but Yuji says no, we will still do it. Now why? You're probably asking yourself that, and now I'm gonna break it all down. Well, this falls back to what Megami said to Yuji. As sorcerers, they are not heroes fighting for justice. Megami didn't save Yuji due to logical reasons. He just didn't want to see a good person die, where it ended up being a selfish emotional decision. No one can truly judge them. They must continually prove the worth of their existence, and they don't have the luxury of thinking about themselves. They just have to save people. This mentality is also why Yuji ate Sukuna's finger in the first place, because he knew in his heart that he was the only one that could do it. So right now, the responsibility to usher the world into a new era of peace, it falls upon Yuji. So it doesn't matter what others think or what they have to say. Yuji is fine with being hated, hence why he decided to let Yuka take the burden of fighting Dabura, and why he accepted Mino's hatred in chapter 20 when he said that he would never forgive him. Yuji then reveals that he will live for another 300 more years according to his calculation. He will protect the world and can accept punishment for what humanity deems for him. For instance, since they know aliens now exist and can travel space, he would be the deterrent against invaders. However, another question is addressed. If curse energy is removed, will Yuji start aging? So the solution is actually not to interfere with the current generation. That way, everyone's lives won't be turned upside down. However, the story ends on a huge cliffhanger. Yuji states that both plans are a flop because spirits will still exist, with Maru being bamboozled. Now, to enjoy more peak fiction about Jujutsu Kaisen, watch this video on your screen right now.